Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week we take an in-depth look at what's happening in the Villages real estate market. If you watch this show, you will get a very good idea as to how things currently stand and what the long-term trends have been till now. And you really will get a good sense of what values might be in different areas of the Villages. We're going to examine the Villages as a whole and also 4 different regions of the Villages. We've broken them into north, middle, south, and south. You'll get a very good perspective on the Villages as a whole. We're going to cover listings, sales, homes going pending, and you really will get a very thorough understanding of the real estate market here. If you're a buyer and you're trying to determine what a good price would be, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to show you the research that we do to determine that. If you're a seller, I'll be happy to advise you as to the maximum realistic price that you can realize in a reasonable period of time. A couple of things to note. First, we produce this show every week. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. Here in the Villages, we have 2 listing services, the multiple listing service and the village listing service called the VLS. The VLS is the only place that you will find new listings here in the Villages. The MLS and the VLS both have pre-owned homes. If you're a buyer, you really need representation both on MLS and VLS, because without both, you will not be able to see everything available for sale here. Also, we have a website, DavidisinFlorida.com. We add new content all the time. Please check us out, visit us, leave us a note, engage with us. We welcome it. Similarly, if you could subscribe or like the video, it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at what's happening with the yield on the 10-year government note. The mortgage rate most closely tracks this note yield, so we can get some idea as to the direction of mortgage rates by looking at the yield on this government note, which, as you can see, looks like it might be heading higher again. The yield on the government 10-year note had increased from less than 0.5% to almost 5% towards the end of last year. It then dropped back below 4% to around 3.8%. We've risen back to 4.3%, so rates, even though they are down by about 0.5% from their highs, are also up 0.5% from their recent lows. So buyers and sellers are facing a quandary here, with rates possibly heading higher. Now we'll take an in-depth look at the Villages real estate market itself. And what you're looking at here is a map that shows you every active listing currently in the Villages. I'm going to show you how I've broken the Villages down into 4 different regions. But what you're looking at on these maps currently are all active listings. I've broken the map down into these 4 regions. First is what I call the Villages North. This is bounded on the north by Highway 42 and on the south by Highway 466, and it includes Spanish Springs. This is the area I'm calling the Mid-North. It is bounded on the north by Highway 466 and on the south by Highway 466A. These maps are showing us all active listings in the Villages, and on the map, the size of the circle denotes the size of the property, and the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. So the larger the circle, the larger the home, and the lighter the circle, the more expensive per square foot. In other words, a small dark circle will be a smaller home at a lower price per square foot, and a bright large circle will be a larger home at a higher price per square foot. This is the area I'm calling the Mid-South. The northern boundary is Highway 466 and the southern boundary is Highway 466A. The last 3 maps that I've showed you are all showing current active listings. And this is the area that I'm calling the South, which is everything south of Highway 44. I would note that the VLS does seem to have significantly more listings in the South than the MLS. So if you are looking to buy in the South, you really should investigate VLS listings as well. But keep in mind that even though VLS has more listings, if you don't use a broker who has access to MLS as well, you won't be seeing those properties at all. Here we start looking at total listings, and we're looking at a long-term chart here which shows us how many listings there are every week going back about 2 years. Currently there are 381 active listings. Last week there were 369, and the same week a year ago there were 339. Listings in the villages currently range from just under $145,000 to just under $2 million. It might be worth noting that 381 is the highest number of listings that we've seen so far. It exceeds the 380 listings that was the previous high from the 15th of January. Here's another long-term chart. We're going to look at long-term trends and also look at the live differences between the different regions of the villages. But for now, we're looking at long-term trends, and this is the median listing price per square foot. Currently $261.71 a foot, up slightly from the $260.03 of the previous week, but still down from the $265.25 median listing price last year. Another long-term chart. This is the median time on the market for all listings, which is currently 45 days, an improvement from the 54 days that was in effect last week, and about the same as the 42 days on the market. That was the median time, same week a year ago. Now we'll start taking a look at the differences between the regions of the villages. Remember, I divided them into north, middle south, and south. What you're looking at here is number of listings, the size of the listings, and the price of the listings. Total listings is the number of listings in the villages as a whole. Median size of all listings. I'm looking at the right-hand column here. Median size of all listings is 1,527 square feet, and the median price is $390,000. In the north, there are 188 properties for sale, median price of $339,000. In the south, there are only 33 properties for sale, median price of $429,000. The graph is showing you how many properties there are available for sale in each price segment for the different regions of the villages and for the villages as a whole. Here's another way of looking at listings. Here we're looking at how many listings there are in each price segment in each area of the villages. For example, for the villages as a whole, in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, there are 151 properties for sale. In the north, in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, there are 99 properties for sale. In the south, only 11. We're going to keep exploring the differences between the regions of the villages. Here we're looking at all listings once again, and we're looking at how long they've been on the market. So in the villages as a whole, the median time on the market is 44 days, and there are 90 properties that have been on the market for over 100 days. In the north, the median time on the market is 45 days. In the south, it's 33 days. In the villages as a whole, there are 90 properties that have been on the market for over 100 days. In the south, there are 5. In the north, there are 52. These graphs may look similar to you, but what you're looking at on the graph is how many properties are available in each of the regions of the villages, grouped by size. So the x-axis is size, and the y-axis is the number of properties at that size for sale. And one more perspective on all listings. This is showing you how many properties are available in each price segment in each region of the villages. So for example, you see in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, light blue is the mid-north, dark blue is the mid-south, orange is the north, and purple is the south. You can get a good idea as to which price segments are active in the different regions of the villages. This is an especially interesting graph. We think that the number of new listings and the number of homes going pending every 7 days gives a pretty good idea as to supply and demand, because new listings are obviously new listings and pending home sales are those that were removed from the market over the previous 7 days. For example, last week there were 51 new listings and 44 homes went pending. The previous week there were only 25 new listings and 51 homes went pending. The same week a year ago, there were 35 new listings and 27 homes went pending. As you look at this graph, the red line is new listings, and you can see that after plunging last week, they have rebounded and pending home sales have stayed about the same. We do need to see pending home sales equal or exceed new listings, or the pressure on sellers here will continue to increase. This is basically a summary of the previous graph. It shows us the difference between new listings and homes going pending. The zero line is the point at which there are as many homes going pending as new listings. If it's positive, it means that there are more homes going pending than being listed. And if it's negative, it means more homes being listed than going pending. We are negative once again. As long as we bounce around the zero line, we should be fine. But every week below the zero line just adds pressure to this market. Here we look at the median price per square foot for the homes that went pending last week. $259.88 the median price, compared to $262.89 the previous week, and compared to $255.03 for the same week a year ago. Once again, this graph is a 4-week moving average, but the numbers you see are actual weekly data points. This is showing us how long homes are on the market before going pending, and we're actually looking at homes that went pending over the last 7 days and a median time that they were on the market. 36 days for the homes that went pending last week, compared to 18 for the homes that went pending the week before, about the same as the 38 days on the market for the homes that went pending exactly a year ago. And this graph might be interesting. This shows us the price increase or decrease for the homes that went pending last week. A median decrease of 4.22% compared to a decrease of 4.78% the week before, and continuing to improve from the 6.25% reduction for the homes that went pending the same week a year ago. We're going to keep looking at long-term charts for a moment longer before we look at the distinctions between the areas of the villages. Here we're looking at sales activity. These are homes that closed over the last 7 days. They're numbered 32. Big improvement from the 19 of the week before, and about the same as the 30 homes that closed the same week a year ago. Homes that closed in the villages last week ranged in price from $215,000 to $670,000. Here we look at the median price per square foot realized on the homes that closed last week. It was $246 a foot, down from $262 a foot for the previous week. But still up from the $236 a foot of the same week a year ago. Just to remind you, the graph is showing you a smooth 4-week average, whereas the numbers themselves are weekly data points. And this is sold time. This is the median number of days that the homes that closed last week were on the market. It was 41 days, up from the 30 days that was in effect the previous week, and about the same as the 38 days on the market that was in effect the same week a year ago. Now we'll take a look at the differences between the regions of the villages. Once again, we're looking at north, middle south, and south. And here we're looking at homes that either sold or went pending over the last 60 days. There were a total of 391 in the villages in totality. The median size was 1,569 square feet, and the median price was $385,000. In the north, 180 homes either went pending or sold over the last 60 days. In the south, only 32. In the north, the median size for the homes that either sold or went pending over the last 60 days was 1,520 square feet. The graphs are showing you the number of properties that are available at every price. Here's another look at the homes that either sold or went pending over the last 60 days. You can get some idea as to which price segments saw activity. For example, the $300,000 to $400,000 range in the villages as a whole saw 162 properties either close or go pending. In the north, 90. In the south, only 11. And we're going to finish by taking a look at the villages as a whole again, and we're looking at what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. We are at 55.64% have reduced their asking price, improving from the 56.64% of last week. But more people are reducing their prices this year than did last year. 55.64% of listings this year compared to only 52% of listings the same week a year ago. And the percentage of reduction also seems to be increasing. Last week, the median decrease for all listings was a 4.09% decrease. This week, it's a 4.35% decrease, which is even worse than the 4.18% median decrease of a year ago. As you look at this graph, which is the percentage of decrease, please remember that this graph going higher means that the decreases are getting larger. That is this week's look at the village's real estate market. If you are a buyer and you'd like some research done as to a good price for a particular property or an area of the villages, please reach out to me at either DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to research for you or answer any questions you have. Similarly, if you're a seller and you're trying to determine maximum reasonable price for your home, I'll be happy to walk you through some research and determine what a good listing price would be. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to help you. Be happy to answer any questions you have. Hope to hear from you. Take care.